Um, Hi everyone, Sailor Moon here, and Sailor Mini Moon, Sailor Small Moon or Little Moon here. And today, as you can see, we're making a film outside again. And as you can see, it rained yesterday, so a lot of the seats that we were sitting in were either wet or dirty, and that is the bind. But that's not the grounds of this film. The ground of the film is we're going to, for long talking, we're going to, for long, talking about this time about Sailor Galaxia. And what do we know about Sailor Galaxia? Now, not much is known about Sailor Galaxia except she's a strong sailor fighter who, happened to be in the Sailor Wars that happened a long time ago. Now, there are many sailor fighters, and some of them are not really even named after worlds. Now, Sailor Galaxia was in a sailor war that happened between her and Madness. Now, anyone who doesn't know Madness, Madness is this fiend that every evildoer from the first following into the fifth following had something to do with. Now, I know some folks are going to say, does that mean that Madness was the true evildoer and that Queen Beryl and, and Aldeling Diamond and later on Hiller Tomo and Queen Helena were not the true evildoers? Well, they were the evildoers, and Madness just played up on their evilness. Queen Beryl wanted to lord over all the world, at least that, and Aldeling Diamond wanted the other Kaiserdom Silverheart so he could strike the Earth in the past so the Earth in the upcoming would never happen, getting even for wrongs that he believed the Black Moonkin had gone through in the hands of the folks of the Earth. Aldel and Hiller Tomo had been taken over by a fiend from another outsider from another starway, and was giving might to his daughter Ataru so she would become Lady Nine, who was working for King Nine, for Overling King 90. And we also get down to Queen Helena, who was stealing folks' might through their dreams so she could be young forever, because the fear of going from young to middle young to old to middle old to late old was so frightening she didn't want to go through it. And Madness, either taking the likeness of Queen Metallia and Queen Beryl's take, the Doom Ghost for Aldeling Diamond, Overling King 90 for the Death Blasters, as far as Hiller Tomo when he was been taken over by the outsider, and Zirconia for Queen Helena. Now, at the end of the day, Madness is a fiend which never really shown itself through those other fiends until we get to Sailor Galaxia, or Galaxia, however you say her name. And she is written or booked or shown to be the strongest sailor fighter because she casted Madness into herself. And by doing so, Madness took over her and started taking star seeds from all the other worlds. We know that she, under Madness's overrunning lead, Sailor Galaxia, while Madness had taken over her, took over the Sailor Starlight's world. And they say they ended it, but the truth is, by the end of the saga, they say we got to get back home and start set everything back up again, which leads them into thinking that the law moat was overthrown and the folks went into became were casted out, and all they were doing or yielding for the day where they could come back to their home world and start over again. Now, Sailor Galaxia is not known if she is already shapeshifted or she doesn't have to shapeshift. It's also known that when I helped her cast out madness out of her, she asked me, where does madness go? And I said madness just goes wherever it goes, the outlets, and that it will always be around, but we should always be ready to fight it when it shows itself. Now, Sailor Galaxia was the way she was handled in the first drawing show by Toei. It's not the way she was handled by the books that were written and drawn by Naoko Takiguchi. And maybe not the way she's handled in a new drawing film, which is coming out next month. You got something to say, Sailor Small Moon? Well, Sailor Moon, I was back in New Heaven, New Earth by the time you folks were fighting Sailor Galaxia, or Galaxia. And so I don't know much about her. All I know is that Sailor Galaxia was the one who had awakened Queen Helena from her glass, who freed her from her glass once she was put into it. And that led us into fighting Queen Helena again, which was nothing more than being played by Sailor Galaxia to awaken Sailor Saturn or Sailor Ringworld back up Ataru. Now, we do know that Sailor Galaxia is strong because all of the inner Sailor Fighters and the outer Sailor Fighter strikes really didn't do anything to her. Either this was because she was truly strong or because madness had taken over her and had given her more might than she had already had. Sailor Galaxia, under Madness's run and lead, has these bracelets or hand rings which she can take folks' star seeds from, or she can enthrall others into working for her, as we see by all the other Sailor Fighters that the Sailor Fighters fight. And if she chooses to take back the rings, their underlings will then die. Now, everyone doesn't really quite know if Sailor Galaxia is the strongest Sailor Fighter out there. There need be other stronger Sailor Fighters and other starways in Sailor Moon's world that are stronger, but we do not know this because the only ones we know about are the Inners and the Outers and the Sailor Starlights, which Sailor Galaxia, well, Madness, when Madness took over her, we do not know how long this was. Sailor Galaxia has also sent a star seed known as Chibi Chibi, because that's the only thing she says. And she comes to Earth and takes the likeness of a little girl and is uncasted herself as Serena's younger sister. Now, it is unknown if Chibi Chibi is, if she really is kin to the Moonkin, or she is really Sailor Moon from another time and another lifetime. That's another film for another day. Now, Sailor Galaxia gave up her star seed and sent it to some world where it could do some good, because she was frightened that madness would fully take over her, and whatever goodness would still be left, she would have lost that goodness. It was Sailor Moon who helped Galaxia, or Sailor Galaxia, still see the goodness inside of her and help cast out madness. Now, that is all we know about Sailor Galaxia from either the drawing show or from the funny books, the drawing books, we'll call it the funny books, and how it is in this new drawing film, Your Guess is Good as Mine. Well, that's all the time we got here. Sailor Mini Moon, Small Moon, Little Moon, Reenie, Sailor Moon, Serena. See you later.